What's up, guys? I'm Justin Moore, and I want to thank you guys for submitting questions to me to answer. This is a pretty unique setting for me. I know you're thinking, man, what in the world is he doing? He's usually out in the middle of the woods, but I'm in New York City for my album release, and I want to thank Cody Allen for having me and allowing me to answer some questions. I can't wait to do it. But since this is my album release week for Off the Beaten Path, I thought we'd pop a bottle of champagne to celebrate before we get into this. So see if I can do this right. Maybe we can. Maybe I can. Okay. We might have to start over. There we go. Alright. This hillbilly ain't used to city life, apparently. Let's get in to answer some questions. Jackie from Newberry Park, California. Who was your role model growing up? My parents were really huge role models in my life. They've been married now for over 30 years. They were perfect examples of what a married couple should be and parents should be. But if I had to choose one, it would have to be my grandpa. I've talked a lot about my grandpa over the course of my career and how close I was to him. And he was the perfect example of what the cornerstone of a family should be as far as a father, a husband, a Christian. If I had to pick one, it'd be him. So, thank you for the question. Chelsea from Longwood, Wisconsin. Was singing always a dream of yours? And if not, when did it start? Singing was not something that I ever thought I would attempt to do for a living or thought I could do for a living. I grew up in a little bit town in Arkansas with about 300 people, and it was not something that I ever thought was fathomable. I grew up in a town where if you were going to be successful, you went to college. If not, you just went to work for the sawmill down the road or whatever it was. And when I was 16 or 17 years old, my dad came up to me and asked me what I thought about playing music for a living, because I'd always sang in church and just in general. And I remember asking him, "You can do that for a living?" And he said, "Yeah." And I started playing music in a band that my uncle was in, a southern rock band. So we played Marshall Tucker, ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, all that stuff, and fell in love with music and went to college for 2 weeks and decided that I did not want to go to college and I wanted to try to pursue this. So I guess I started when I was a junior or senior in high school, something like that, and have been very, very blessed to have a lot of people around me that know a lot more about how to make it actually come to fruition than I ever did. I'm going to take a drink of champagne right now because we have the #1 song in the country and the #1 album right now. And then I'll answer the next question. I will go ahead and tell you I'm the least professional musician on the planet. I think you guys know that by now. And we'll go to the next question. Cam from Barberville, Kentucky. Where's your favorite place to shop for clothes? Not what I expected from somebody from Kentucky to ask me about clothes, but my favorite place to shop for clothes is in my closet, which is where my wife puts the clothes that she buys me. I have no idea, honestly. I don't buy anything I wear. I hate to shop. Whatever my wife buys me, I wear. She knows better than I do. If I had to shop anywhere, it would be whatever boot stores around the house, because I'm pretty obsessed with cowboy boots. All right. Next up, Ashley from Canton, Ohio. What is your favorite song off of your new album? That's easy. My favorite song off the new album is That's How I Know You Love Me. Not only is it my favorite song off the new album, but it's my favorite song that I've ever recorded in my career. And it's one of the songs I didn't write on this album. But even though that's the case, it's probably the most personal song I've ever recorded. I think it's honestly one of the best songs I've ever heard. In particular, since I've been in this business, I think the songwriters did just a fantastic job of writing the song. And I heard this song when I was in the Babies R Us parking lot in Little Rock, Arkansas, with my wife and my mom and my two girls. And I heard the song, loved it, but I didn't know if I could pull it off. But I got to thinking to myself, I don't want to show up at a show and hear somebody sing this song and think, man, I'm jealous, I wish I'd have cut it. So even though I didn't know if I could pull it off, I cut it anyway, and it ended up being my favorite song on the album, so I hope you like it as well. Justin from Buffalo. I bet this is Justin who had me sign his PlayStation. Maybe not, but I would venture to say it's true. How do my girls, my wife and my daughters, like my music? I hope they like it. My wife's picked all 3 #1 records that I've recorded. And my little girls sing all my songs. In particular, my 3-year-old. She likes to sing. Point at You is her favorite right now because it's the new single. But I hope they like it. But they like to sing it themselves, but they don't like me to sing it. They always tell me to shut up. So, but I hope the music in particular they actually like. Suzanne from St. James, Florida. Her question is, are there any songs out there that you passed on you wish you would have recorded? Actually, recently, for my new album, Off the Beaten Path, that came out this week, there was a song that I had on hold, which means I said I want a little while to think about it, and I may cut it or may not. I had a song on hold that I let go that Lee Brice cut for his upcoming album, and ever since then I've been going, I wish I'd have cut that song. But it's called The Drinking Class, and Lee did a great job on it, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot of success with it. Great song. I just didn't know if it fit this record for me, but that was the most recent song that I wish that I would have recorded that I didn't, and it's probably going to be a big hit for him, so I hope it is. He's a good guy. Sandra from Hammett, California. Give me a second. Hammett, California. Sandra. What was the first thing you bought with money from your first hit song? The first thing I bought was a boat. 95 Javelin, 17.5 foot. And I called my dad and said, I'm buying a boat. And he said, oh, good grief, Small Town USA's top 10 and you're already buying stuff. And he thought I bought some high dollar boat, but I bought a boat that was like $4,000 or $4,500 or something like that. So that was the first thing I bought. I still own it, by the way. It's for sale if anybody wants it. This is from Ethan in Birmingham, Alabama. What was the most difficult part about recording this new album? Oh man, the most difficult part about the recording of this album was being away from home. I mean, not unlike playing on the road. We recorded this album in Nashville in its entirety. The 2 albums prior to this we recorded mostly in Nashville, some in Florida. I spent a lot of time in the panhandle of Florida, in Destin, Florida. My wife and I actually own a house down there now, and we've recorded a lot of our first 2 records down there. We didn't get any opportunity to do that this time, but the most difficult part about the process of recording this particular album was being away from home and my wife and my daughters. And obviously writing the songs. It's not easy to write the songs for an album. Mark from Dallas, Texas. What is your favorite song to perform live? My favorite song to perform live changes from week to week, month to month. Right now, it would probably be One Dirt Road, which is a song off the new album that looks like it may be our next single. It's a song I wrote for my grandma. I've talked a lot about my grandpa and writing songs for my grandpa, but I've never written a song for my grandma until this one here. And one of my favorites off the new album, and I hope it touches you the way it touches me, Mark. Thank you for the question. This question comes from Emmy in Waukon, Iowa. I hope I pronounced Waukon right. I don't know. If somebody asked me 10 years ago what I'd be doing, would I have thought I would be in the music business? 10 years ago, I was, 10 years ago, 11 or 12 years ago, I wouldn't have. I had been out of high school a year or 2 at that point and was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and trying to do this, Emmy. I knew this is what I wanted to do at that point. I didn't know that it was going to work out, like it has, but it was at least what I thought I would be doing if I had my druthers. This one's from Becca in Tampa, Florida. Name one quote to live by. Wow, that's a lot of pressure.